I'm sorry to bother you, Dad. I have a question for you. Proceed. Have you borrowed my razor? No, son. Your beard is too harsh on the blade, so I never borrow your razor. Malcolm-Jamal Warner is a well-known actor who starred in the popular sitcom The Cosby Show is no longer around. Warner drowned close to a beach on Costa Rica's east coast, according to Costa Rican police ABC News reports. He was only 54. He was a lighthouse. He was among the most gifted and multifaceted men. Verifies to E. According to News, Cosby was equally devastated by the news of Warner's death when he received the call and the murder of his own son, Andis Cosby, in 1997. Have you ever heard news so unbelievable that it takes 3 readings to fully register? It felt precisely like that when Malcolm-Jamal Warner drowned in Costa Rica, according to sources. On television in the 1980s, a guy who helped redefine what it meant to be a young black man is the subject of our discussion. We all wanted the smooth, hilarious, and awkward brother. Living with 4 sisters may be difficult for some men, but I believe it's made I'm more considerate of women's needs and desires. People were therefore shocked when the news broke that Malcolm-Jamal Warner had died at the age of 54. Unfortunately, it wasn't a fake, despite what some people believed. The official report is that Malcolm was at Playlist in Costa Rica with his daughter when a powerful rip he was pushed beneath by current. And it was already too late when rescuers arrived at his location. According to the autopsy, it was accidental drowning. Fans still didn't like something about it, though, particularly the way the media kept altering the tale. Malcolm was more than simply a TV personality, too. He was family to us, to the culture, and most importantly, to the people he worked with, for more than 10 years. His co-stars on The Cosby Show all broke down, saying that the news affected them as much as losing their own family members. There is more to the story than loss. It's about memory, loss, legacy, and how our community copes with losing one of our own once more. So, let's discuss it. No. Well, it's hard to ruin that show's legacy because a generation of children looked for increased learning as a result of that program. Facts. Because of that show, a generation of children grew up, got married, and had devoted families. It is impossible to undo the cultural impact the show has established. Nevertheless, if you're experiencing Malcolm-Jamal's, you're not alone, and death doesn't feel completely random. And the media's constant changes to the story are largely to blame. According to the initial story following the event, Malcolm and his daughter, age 8, were both in the water when they became entangled in a rip current. However, everything changed when Costa Rica's Judicial Inquiry Office released a statement less than 2 days later. They said that Malcolm perished after being dragged in by the river while playing with his daughter at the shore, who had already left the ocean. In line with their declaration, at which point the current carried Malcolm and another man away. Additionally, they are now claiming that 3 visitors who also happened to be doctors were there at the incident. Despite saving the other man who was on the verge of drowning, none of them were able to save Malcolm. Thus, the fact that the specifics remain. Many people are becoming alarmed about change. Fans, as well as locals, began pointing out further inconsistencies at the same moment. All of this occurred on Playa Cocas, which is notorious for its lethal rip currents and lack of safety measures. And according to real studies, it's Costa Rica's most deadly beach. Malcolm brought his daughter swimming there while his wife remained at the hotel, which is crazy. Additionally, lifeguards weren't on duty that day for whatever reason. The volunteer lifeguard organization in the area acknowledged due to a lack of resources, the beach was essentially unmonitored. Nevertheless, there are signs alerting people to the possibility of drowning all along the shore. All of this happened on this beach. However, once you arrive, even before you set foot on the beach, there are some indicators that those who are coming to enjoy the day should be wary. Corrientes Resaca Todo Ilano is written here, essentially alerting people to the fact that there is a current here all year long. As you can see, surfers are being warned. Wave conditions are a cause for concern. And look at this after that. You can withstand a rip current, according to this enormous placard. They are obviously alerting people to the potential situations. And regrettably, Malcolm-Jamal Warner seems to have been pulled out over the weekend by the circumstances. Therefore, it is illogical for Malcolm to take his little daughter to beach with hazardous currents, then simply leave her alone when he and a companion went swimming. Because Malcolm wasn't like that. He wasn't careless. No crazy evenings, no news reports, and no untidy drama. The man's family was his world, and he was enjoying a peaceful vacation. Never once have I doubted it. The whole confusing situation with this other man who was allegedly swimming with Malcolm is on top of the fact that we have been together for almost 10 years and have never fought, argued, raised our voices, or spoken harshly. Reports first claimed it was a complete. They claim it was a family friend, but it was actually a stranger who stepped in to help Malcolm when he was in trouble. No one seems to know who that guy is, but he apparently survived the ordeal. No statement, no picture, no name, nothing. Furthermore, the media revealed on July 20th that this man in critical condition was sent to a facility in Costa Rica. However, word of the man's full recovery and hospital discharge came less than 24 hours later. How did he go from being critically ill and on the verge of drowning to fully recovering and leaving the hospital? And why hasn't this man spoken out about what transpired? Let's not overlook the timeline either. Malcolm had recently been returning to his creative side. He had a booming podcast. There were rumors of a deal with Netflix. He discussed writing, a memoir as well. And let's be honest, I'm not claiming that foul play was unquestionably present. You don't have to be an expert in conspiracy theories to feel that this story doesn't make sense. In any case, those of us who grew up watching Malcolm will find this loss very painful. Malcolm was more than just a passing actor, so this strikes close to home. He was one of the few who survived with his integrity untarnished, grew up in the spotlight, and never changed. No controversies, no chasing of influence, simply consistent, sincere, and purposeful labor behind the scenes and on television. Yes, Theo Huxtable is Malcolm's most well-known nickname, but if that's all you think of him for, you're missing the bigger picture. Malcolm was a skilled poet, a filmmaker, and a musician. He had a strong interest in community centers, black bookstores, open mics, and spoken word. His jazz record earned him a Grammy. He was performing in areas where the inspections and cameras weren't present, wasn't simple, and he wasn't hesitant to touch on some things that most people in Hollywood are too scared to talk about. Malcolm-Jamal Warner understood the Israelites are black. The art of being black is often an acrobatic feat in preserving black humanity in a world that worships a pale, long-haired Anglo-Saxon Messiah, even though the Bible clearly defines him as a bronze-colored, woolly-haired Hebrew. Malcolm also advocated on black mental health before it was hip. He turned up at panels that explored accountability in the industry, manhood, black fatherhood, and he was actively striving to educate people on the value of authentic role models. The biggest gift that I can give my daughter is a feeling of self. So when she walks out into the world, she is not easily swayed by her surrounding. Amen. Right? So when she was like 2 years old, someone says to her, "Oh, you're so gorgeous. You're really cute. You're very gorgeous." Her words will be, "Thank you. I'm also intelligent." So no, this isn't just a 54-year-old TV celebrity who passes away. This is the silencing of a man who had so much more to say. And when the news arrived, many were in shock. However, the cast of The Cosby Show was distraught. It was evident in their reaction. Not like coworkers mourning a coworker, however it's similar to family mourning a brother. Malcolm was the glue. That's what he was to them. The one who never turned his back, never sold out, and never spiraled. Even when that show and that legacy got problematic. Keisha Knight Pulliam, who played Rudy. Huxtable wrote one of the earliest tributes, and she said she lost her big brother but received an angel. Raven Simone, who came on later in the show, broke down and claimed that Malcolm was the sweetest, most gentle man she's ever met. Someone who always gave her a sense of being seen. There are no words to express the suffering, and I'm surprised and saddened by MJW's untimely passing. He was the older sibling. He was a lighthouse. He was among the most gifted and multifaceted men. His daughter is incredibly sweet, and my heart and soul send him hugs and kisses. His mother and his wife. His counsel was the greatest. He gave me the greatest embraces, and his smile will live on in my memory forever as a huge, brilliant, white smile. Jeffrey Owens, who portrayed Sandre's spouse Elvin on The Cosby Show, followed. Now you may recall Jeffrey from the whole thing that happened at Trader Joe's a few years ago. Both mainstream media and online trolls ridiculed Jeffrey for transitioning from TV celebrity to cashier after pictures of him bagging groceries at a Trader Joe's went viral. Malcolm, however, was among the first to openly support Jeffrey. Additionally, he had harsh things to say about the media outlets that attempted to disgrace him. Something heartwarming like this happens just when most of us get tired of social media and how heartbreaking it can be, Malcolm commented on Instagram. I can't tell you how overwhelmed I am by the way social media has come together to support Jeffrey Owens. Jeffrey is a decent man. In fact, it's one of his unique characteristics. Therefore, it is not surprising that he is prepared to take any legal action necessary to provide for his family. People's ignorance about Jeffrey is that in addition to graduating from Yale with honors, he has a strong background in theater acting both before and after Cosby. In a way, we should thank Fox News and The Miserable for trying to disgrace him with the love and support he receives from everyone. His extensive understanding of Shakespeare as an actor and director puts many of us to shame. More work is on the horizon for him. Changing careers is not what Trader Joe's is. You are a moron. It's a placeholder position that gives you the freedom to attend auditions and then take a break to report to work. The life of an actor is filled with highs and lows. When I was a teenager, my mother used to say, if you're in this business long enough, you will have dry spells. See how this is the ideal way to start this dry spell. Mad respect and a salute to you, man. Thus, when the terrible news broke, Jeffrey paid a non-performative homage to Malcolm. Malcolm was a lovely man, a sweet and sensitive soul, he continued, adding that the news nearly left him speechless. He truly liked the act of creation, which is one of the many reasons I appreciated him. He had a musician's heart and an actor's head. He was also giving. He was there for me when I requested him to participate in a theater project I had done in the past. His family is in my thoughts and prayers. There was Bill Cosby after that. Say whatever you want to, and trust me, we will. However, the internet came to a halt when he issued a statement. He referred to Malcolm as the show's spirit and claimed that losing him was similar to losing his real son Andis, who was murdered in 1997. When we don't know this, we don't know whether, and the news came to me in a way that we're not entirely sure of since it's similar to how I got the news of his swimming. Although I'm not sure what happened to him, I do know that he is an honest person, and I hope the media will reflect that. The regard. The stillness is all that remains now. No more podcasts, no more poetry, no more Theo laughs, no more composed, introspective interviews, and no more presents. Just stay away from Malcolm-Jamal Warner's former position. Indeed, according to the official narrative, it was merely an accident. Perhaps it was. It feels weird, though, even if it wasn't something malevolent. Not like this. Not like the kind of loss that should never have occurred. I'd like to hear from you now. For you, what did Malcolm mean? After The Cosby Show ended, did you continue to follow his career? Did we honor him sufficiently during his lifetime, in your opinion? And how do you interpret his death's circumstances and timing? Post your opinions in the comments section and tell us about your favorite Malcolm moment.